It's something different. It's that voice inside of me. No more feeling empty. No more rushing. No more pretending to be someone else. No more searching. I have one life. I can live an amazing life. I can be free. What if less is more? Less stress, less debt, less of arguments, less of proving your worth, and more of time, more happiness, more peace, more money. That's what minimalism can offer you. Discover how minimalism can grow your business and life. Go to aminimalistentrepreneur.com. Each week, a minimalist entrepreneur with your host, Zurika, aims to connect you with real successful people who share their success strategies that you can use in your business. So, here's Zurika.
Hello, everybody. It's Zurika from A Minimalist Entrepreneur. I hope each one of you are having an amazing day, because I'm truly having one, because it's really nice and sunny out here in New Zealand. And what I'd love us to do today in this episode is introduce you to someone truly amazing. I have not actually spoken to her in depth before. This is the first time I've actually had a conversation. Her name is Suzanne Doyle Ingram. And if I have pronounced it incorrectly, Suzanne's going to actually correct me on this call. Now, the reason I wanted Suzanne Doyle Ingram to be on this call is for multiple reasons. Firstly, because she is a wife, she's a mother, and she owns 3 successful businesses. That means she knows her stuff really well. And the second reason was because she owns a direct marketing list brokerage firm. I didn't really understand what that meant, but when I actually read through her bio, I pretty much got an idea that she helps businesses to be able to find lists that are target audience to their service or product. And that's a huge thing, to have someone with those skills. And the third or fourth reason, I guess, is because she enables professionals to write their own book, and not only help them to write their book, understand the publishing life cycle, and plus she's been able to get results for her students where they have been bestsellers. So that's a lot of stuff that we will be able to actually ask from Suzanne Doyle Ingram. So with that, I would love to get Suzanne on the call.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. And thank you so much for actually being on this call. And so what I'd love us to do, Suzanne, is if you could let us know a little bit about you, how you got into business, and why did you even start your first business?
Well, that's a great question. I didn't grow up thinking that I always wanted to have my own business. Not at all, actually. My mother was a real estate agent when I was growing up, and it was usually, feast or famine. And I thought, I will never do that. I will never be self-employed, because I want to know exactly how much money I'm going to make every week on my paycheck. And here I am, totally self-employed. But I found the urge to start my business when I was working for other people, and always felt like I could run the company better. So right. I had an opportunity when the company that I was working for, it was a list brokerage firm. I was working for them, and they sold their company. And suddenly I thought, oh my gosh, I'm out of a job. What am I going to do? So that's when I started my own company. And it was very scary. I wasn't comfortable for about 2 years, actually. It wasn't easy, but I'm really glad I did it. I'm really glad. And now I have 3 companies.
That was really awesome to be able to read that about you. And then, when you say 3 companies, do you have staff, or are you running it as a lean business where it's mostly outsourced work or outsourced to people? How do you work?
Well, with the list brokerage firm, I have 3 staff and myself, and the staff do a lot of the work, and I basically manage that company. And then for my coaching business, where I help people write books, I can do most of that on my own, and then I have a few freelancers that work for me for some of my stuff, like, web design and that kind of thing. And then the publishing company, I have staff that do the editing and the formatting and the cover design and stuff like that.
Awesome. And, a lot of us, when we start our own businesses, we have this whole temptation to be able to quit our jobs, in the hope that this business is going to really take off, and we're going to be able to pay our bills, and we're going to be our own bosses. But, if you actually look at statistics, I think sometimes a lot of us get into business. We think that we are going to make it. We're self-employed, and pretty much we fail within the first 3 years, of the business tenure. So if there is someone who's listening on this call at the moment who wants to desperately quit their job, start their business, what would be your advice to a budding entrepreneur?
Well, my advice would be to put some money away before you quit your job. Make sure you have some savings to live on for at least 3 to 6 months, I would say, depending on what the business is that you're starting. And the other thing is, you know what? Expect to work 12 hours a day. And I think that's what really separates the successful entrepreneurs from the failed entrepreneurs is I worked 12 hours a day at least. I was working about probably 80 hours a week. I remember when I was pregnant with my third child, I had to make a deal with my midwife that I would go down to 40 hours a week from 60 hours a week. And I thought that was just crazy. I thought, how am I going to only work 40 hours a week? And I don't work that many hours now that I've been in business for a long, long time and I have systems set up. But that's the number one thing is it's going to be really hard work if you want to succeed. And then once you know what you're doing and you've got money coming in, then you can relax a little bit and you can outsource things, you can hire people. But bottom line is it's a lot of work. There's no magic button that you can press to make money instantly overnight. And the only people making money in those situations are the people supposedly teaching people how to do that stuff.
Yes, I know that's such an irony actually, but yeah, we'll have that conversation on another day.
Yes. Oh, and another thing I wanted to say that I just thought of was that one of the keys to success as well is always following up. So when someone contacts you or you contact, just always make sure you just kindly and gently follow up, because there was a statistic that I read from it's called SMEI, Sales and Marketing Executives International. And they did a study and they found that 9 out of 10 sales are closed within a year, but no, I'm sorry, that's not correct. It was like a certain percentage of sales are closed within a year, but 9 out of 10 times it's from someone other than who contacted them initially. So what that means is someone contacted them and gave them the idea, hey, you should buy this, tent or whatever, and then they end up buying the tent from someone else because the initial person didn't follow up. So you've always got to follow up.
Right. Yeah, actually that's a very good point, because when I started out in my own career, sometimes we send all these CVs on for job ads. Just let's take that as an example.
Yes.
If you don't actually call up and follow up to figure out, have you got my CV? Is there any updates for it? Do I need to do anything different? The person doesn't remember you. And so obviously that opportunity might actually go. Mm-hmm. And this is what we do as professionals in our normal day-to-day life, when we're looking to make our day jobs work for us to get our living sorted.
Yes.
So I guess it's the same in business. When you are starting out your business, the first thing to remember is that you'll do whatever it takes to make that business work. That means working the long hours, which you've just recommended, which you've just actually initiated and highlighted very strongly. And the second thing is, if you don't have any clients, it's about actually going and finding those clients and actually following up in a subtle manner. Mm-hmm. Or if someone actually puts forward that you should actually meet with so-and-so, to actually go that step and do it. Yeah,
and then I also have a rule with my marketing company that we call the 30-30-30 rule, and it means you should be contacting 30 people every single day, whether it's a new contact or following up. It's like 30 tasks a day, and then the other 30 means if someone contacts you, you get back to them within 30 minutes, or someone else is going to get the sale, they'll go somewhere else. And then the other 30 is for when someone wants to order or, needs a quote from you, that needs to be done within 30 minutes as well.
Wow, that's really a cool one.
Yeah.
So 30 people that we have to contact on a daily basis.
Yep.
If you receive any email back from someone, to be able to communicate back within 30 minutes. And if someone's asked for a quote or a proposal, to be able to respond to that in 30 minutes.
Yes.
That's amazing. But what if someone contacted you when you are sleeping? Because of time zone differences.
Well, I've just been during regular business hours.
Right. Okay. That's a really good one. And thank you for that tip because I'm actually going to do that because in theory, I know that if you do something consistent, it's going to actually work for you.
Yes.
But I've never actually put it to this level where you have a figure in your mind that this is what I have to do on a daily basis, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. So thanks for that tip.
You're welcome.
The next thing that I would love to actually ask you are, what are the key elements, okay, that any author wanting to self-publish must do so that pretty much they can get to market quickly, effectively, and actually start making sales?
Oh, that's a good one too. Well, before I answer that question, I have to explain one thing about the way that I teach people how to write books. And what I always say to someone who's writing a book is the first thing they need to get really clear on is the reason why they're writing their book. Because I have found that I've written 10 books and I've written them in 2 different manners. So some of my books I just write because I want to make money with book sales. And so those sorts of books have to be written on a very trendy topic, and there's other things that I can explain about that. But in order for people to just sort of find the book on Amazon and want to buy it. And then on the other hand, some of my students, many, I would say actually most of my students, write books that they are not trying to gain a lot of book sales, but they will use their book, basically leverage it as a marketing tool for their business. Because I teach that you have to know what the average value is of a new client. And so some of my students are in occupations where one new client is worth $5,000 or $10,000 for them. So I help them to understand that who cares if you're not making $200 or $400 or $600 off the book sales, because one new client is worth way more than selling books.
Right.
But
give me an example, like how would a book help to get like $5,000 to $10,000 worth of sales?
Well, for example, some of my clients are real estate agents.
Right.
And so a new client for a real estate agent can be worth, between $2,000 and $5,000. And if they're a repeat client over the course of the time that they're doing business together, it could be worth $10,000 or $20,000, that one client. So the real estate agent that has a book, is a published author, often has more authority and more credibility than one who doesn't.
That's right. Yeah.
And,
gotcha.
Yeah, and same with, one of my clients is a home stager, and she's just about finished her book. I can't wait for her to finish her book because she is only planning on printing about 50 of them and giving them to real estate agents in her city where she works. And all she really needs for a very, very high level full-time income is to work with about 5 real estate agents on a consistent basis, and then she's done. So she doesn't care if anybody buys her book.
Yes, I totally understand. And wow, that's actually a good way of actually marketing, especially for a consultant.
Yes.
Where, like, if you're an accountant or you are a dentist or you are an IT professional, business analyst or a project manager, having your book published on Amazon, it doesn't really matter if you're making the sales, but when you go into a company and you say that you are an author of a particular subject, you hold more credibility than just having your CV, I guess, in some ways.
Absolutely. Yes, it's fantastic. It's wonderful, and I love it. But getting back to your question, you were asking about if someone wanted to self-publish a book, what would they have to do to get it to market quickly and make sales?
Yeah.
So I do have a couple of tips on that. The first thing is they need to finish their book because I can't tell you how many times a week people ask me questions about marketing their book when they haven't actually finished the book. I think there's probably millions of people in the world who have a half-finished book sitting on their computer, on their hard drive. So number one is finish the book. And then what they would need to do to market it quickly would be to make sure it has proper SEO. And what I mean by that is that if you are writing a book about how to get your child to sleep through the night, you might want to do some keyword research on what exactly are people looking for when they're trying to solve that problem. So in your title of your book, you're going to want to have something like how to get your child to sleep through the night, instead of calling it, Frankie Pants Jessica or something that's cute but has nothing to do with the keywords that people are searching for. You have to make sure that you have the keyword in the title.
Right.
And then there's other things you need to do too with the keywords as well, such as in the description have it on Amazon. You've got to have the keywords in there. And you also really have to be prepared to market your book. There's a lot of work that goes into marketing your book in order to make book sales. And it's literally like on a daily basis, different things you need to be doing. Like, you've got to be blogging and, make sure that you're on all social media and try to do even guest blogging if you can and get reviews. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
Right. And if someone wanted to be able to get your services, to be able to actually have a structure and a plan, so they put a budget in place so that this actually works for them rather than against them, what would be like costings or budgets that you would recommend?
Oh, you mean to work with me?
Yeah.
Well, they can go onto my website if they want to look at that, but I have courses on my website that I show exactly how to do a Kindle book, including the marketing and everything, and that is $197, but sometimes it goes on sale. And then I also have a coaching program, but people can either go like in a group coaching program or private coaching, so I'm very flexible with budgets, and I'm actually going to be putting together a course that's only $5. So I think the best thing to do would be to visit my website and sign up for my free course, because then they sort of get on my list and they'll get announcements about other courses that I'm doing.
And could you please let everyone know what the website address would be so that they...
Sure. It's SuzanneDoyleIngram.com. So I'll spell that. It's kind of long, unfortunately. It's SUZANNE, D for Doyle, DOYLEINGRAM.com.
Awesome. And what I'll do for everyone is I'll put that link also onto the YouTube link as well as on Facebook and onto the blog so that you'll have that for reference. But I think it would be worthwhile to actually go to the website, subscribe for the free ebook, see if it is of value to you, and then contact Suzanne, because at the end of it, we'll be able to see if Suzanne actually gets back within 30 minutes.
Oh, no. Pressure.
Well, but that's good that you've actually spoken about the different things, at least the starting of how to be able to publish a book, and also given us tips about how, as a professional, if you're the reason why you're writing a book, maybe not for book sales, but to actually get, other contracts, and looking at it from that perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, let's just imagine that I have written a book, and I've gone on to say like Odesk or Elancer, found a copywriter to make sure that all the, it's grammatically correct and it's got its SEO done. I've gone and done like final touches from a design perspective, and I want to self-publish it, okay? Say on a platform like Amazon. Like, you spoke about different marketing strategies. Can you give me like one or two or three really good marketing strategies that someone can do once they have completed the book?
Sure. I think one of the things that I recommend is to build your social networks on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn as you're writing your book so that you have a bit of an audience when you're ready to launch your book, because a lot of times people don't really pay any attention to that, and then they have their book done and they only have 200 friends on Facebook and 17 LinkedIn connections. So it is really easy to do, actually. What I've been doing lately is, because I'm just starting to build up LinkedIn and Twitter, I have about 3,000 followers on Facebook, but I finally realized one day that business professionals are more easily found on LinkedIn than they are on Facebook. So I thought, I really need to be more on LinkedIn. So I just started connecting with people, and it's like reaching out to 30 people a day. Yesterday I followed 100 people on Twitter, and I've had quite a few follow me back. So I really recommend that you maybe just for 30 minutes a day, every day, reach out to people and try to build those networks as you're writing your book, because when your book is finished, then you can announce it on there. You make friends. I mean, I have friends on social media that I've never met in real life. I mean, look at you and I are on opposite ends of the world, and it's great how you can meet people like this. So you can say to your friends, hey, can you do me a favor and give me a little shout out for my book? And it's amazing how fast it can go viral. But there's other marketing strategies like press releases. And the thing that I would caution your listeners is just be careful if you find something online where you have to pay a lot of money and the person says, oh, pay me $10,000 and I'll make you a bestseller or something like that, just be very, very careful, because sometimes I've heard some horror stories about that just not working well. But, there's really no easy way. Like I said before, it's a lot of marketing. It's just, press releases and blog posts, and you could do YouTube videos about your topic. So if your topic is how to get your child to sleep through the night, I always use that as an example, by the way, then you could do videos about how to get your child to sleep through the night, and you could get those on YouTube and Vimeo and Vidler and different places like that. So it's just a lot of internet marketing really is what it is.
Yeah, but now for the audience who is listening to this and is trying to actually simplify life, it's not that overwhelming. I mean, Suzanne has been really passionate about it, and she's trying to explain all the steps. But let's look at it from a simplicity perspective. The first thing that we all need to do, whether we are writing a book or not writing a book, if we want to get into business, the first step of contacting 30 people every day for 30 minutes, that's something that we can do from a social media perspective. Mm-hmm. The second thing is to be proactive. That means when someone contacts you or is following you or sends you an email, send back a reply so that there is a connection over there. Third thing is that we need to pick one step or from a marketing perspective and create it as a habit. So maybe if you're writing a book or you're creating a blog, turn that around into a video and post it on YouTube. Maybe that's the only thing that you do initially. And then I would recommend to actually have a coach with you so that you can plan your business and make it successful rather than trying to do things, ad hoc or listening to one podcast here and second podcast there, because we spend a lot of time, on tasks that don't actually give us back what we are really after. And would you agree with that, Suzanne?
Absolutely, I agree. Yes, and I always have a coach as well. I need a coach to give me accountability, and sometimes I just get overwhelmed because I think, it's all too much, or I think, I'll try this thing, and then it didn't work. And, lots of times things don't work for me as well because I'm an entrepreneur, and that's what we do. We take risks, right? Luckily, more things work for me than don't work, but I have a coach that is fantastic because I can just have someone to say, am I on the right track here? And then the coach will say, well, remember you wrote that blog post about this or that, and kind of second opinion, It's great.
Yes, but what I would love to do is, Suzanne, I would like to thank you for your time, because some of the tips that you've given, even though they might sound really simple and it might have 20 minutes to actually discuss that, you have impacted many lives today, because someone who's listening to this is going to actually implement those steps. And for everyone who's listening to this recording, maybe today or in the future, I would recommend to go to www.SuzanneDoyleIngram.com, because you'd have nothing to lose. Go and subscribe for her free course. Get to know Suzanne as a person, and then contact her so that you can actually completely change your life and make things happen for you. And if you feel that this might not be something for you, but a friend could actually have an impact on this, please help me to share the word across so that I can help Suzanne in some way, and Suzanne would be pretty much helping someone else in some way by sharing it on your social media. If you are on LinkedIn, please do like my post or send it to your contacts or through email. And if you have any specific questions that you'd like me to actually address so that I can actually find people such as Suzanne, please do send me an email. I want to thank you, Suzanne, again for your time. And from Jericho and my brother Neil, from a minimalist entrepreneur, I want to thank you for impacting my life and for actually encouraging me to keep moving forward. Thanks, and you guys have an amazing day. Bye for now.
If you want to live an amazing life and grow a business that serves you, then visit aminimalist.entrepreneur.com and sign up for laser-focused strategies discussed by well-renowned entrepreneurs. Be free. Own your life. You deserve it.